Hello everyone, so I want to talk about today about how to get into a positive state when you're in a bad mood because situations are not going your way, you're having problems and challenges. The problem is we're stuck in a reactive state and we're not responding to how we want. Our emotions are dictated by the situations that are happening around us, not the way that we choose them to be. So hopefully, I'll give you some guides that will help you feel better. Um, so our goal, like I said, is to feel better and to feel happy and positive without needing the situation to change itself. That's our goal, just to feel better. Um, and what's the game plan? The game plan is very simple. We want to use our imagination or use our mind or memory to think of something that will trigger a positive emotion, a positive response. When we trigger that positive response, we want to milk it and we want to stretch it out and amplify it and hold on to it as long as we can. And then we drop whatever memory or image or situation that we thought of, and we just hold on to that emotion and we keep coming back to it when we lose that positive sensation. The problem is, a lot of people, they get so entangled into the situation, so entangled into the problem that it's very hard to turn away from it. So we need to do some preparatory work to free our mind so that then we're able to use it the way we want it to trigger these positive emotions. So it's two steps. One, it's we need to learn how to relax and bring our awareness back to ourselves, and then to use the mind and think of some sort of situation that brings you joy or happiness. Either it has happened in your life or you're just making a situation up and you're thinking of how it would feel if that would have happened. And for example, let's say you lost your bike and it's very dear to you, has sentimental value. Someone you love gave it to you, and now it's lost and you're hurting. So you can think up in your mind of how it feels to have that bike back and to ride it. The visualization part is not important. It's only there to help us to get to the emotion, how we would feel about riding that bike again, to experiencing the joy of finding it or the gratitude of someone returning it to us. If resolving the situation itself still makes you feel negative, then pick any memory or situation that's going to trigger a positive emotion. For example, you can think of even a movie scene or playing a video game, something, as long as it doesn't have to be related to whatever's happening in life, as long as it's bringing up a positive emotion. So it could be, for me, for example, maybe a specific scene in Harry Potter in the first movie when they're riding the train and they're eating different snacks. And then you think to yourself, how does this make me feel? Or what am I feeling from this? And it's just a sense of wonder and joy, childlike magic and innocence. And then we can forget about that scene and we just hold on to that emotion that is being triggered from from that scene. So that's our goal. But like I said, it's difficult to even uh, feel that when you're feeling stressed. So we need to relax yourself. And there's different things that we can do. And there's these relaxation techniques. And we're going to kind of follow a similar philosophy in yoga. So we want to start with a breathing technique. And then after we do a breathing technique, we want to work with our body and just do some simple body movements to open up our body. Then we're going to follow through with some gentle yoga movements. Then after that, we want to do a meditation. And afterwards, hopefully, once we go through all these steps, you're feeling better, you're feeling more relaxed, you're not so attached to the outside circumstance. And then then at that point, we can use the technique of creating some sort of situation that triggers a positive emotion. Okay, so I'm not gonna uh, I'm not going to show you myself every single technique to help you relax. I'm just gonna give you suggestions and resources because this video will be way too long. And sometimes just taking one of these techniques is going to be enough for you to relax so you can start to visualize. The first technique, for example, we can do a yogic breath, a full yogic breath where we breathe in through 3 parts of our body. We start with breathing in through our diaphragm, and then we move on to breathe into the chest, and then we move up to breathe into the collarbone, and then when we breathe out through the collarbone, and through the chest, and then through the diaphragm and stomach, and that'll be one yogic breath, and then you would follow up and do it again. Through the diaphragm, into the chest, into the shoulders, out to the collarbone, the chest, and then the stomach and diaphragm. And you can sit there and do that for a few minutes if you need to start to help to relax. And then we can follow through with 2 other yogic breathing techniques. And I'll leave the links, and you have to do everything in the proper order. Okay? So one of the breathing techniques is exhaling through your stomach only, and you have to make sure that you haven't ate before doing this. So if you're going to be doing this specific breathing techniques, you want to make sure you haven't eaten for like maybe 2 hours, so your stomach is empty. If you haven't, then just do the yogic breath, and you can skip these 2 techniques. But what you want to do is 15 to 20 sharp exhales through your stomach, and then inhale comes in naturally, passively. So you do a sharp exhale through your nose, and you do that 15 to 20 times, and that'll be 1 round, and you'd be sitting, relaxing, feeling what you feel, and then you would do it again with your eyes closed. And sharp exhales, and the inhale will happen on itself. You're only forcing the exhale. And you would do 3 rounds of that. And then the third technique, again, it has to be in this order, is called bhastrika. And what you do is you're going to extend your arms up, and your hands are going to be open, and you're going to do a sharp inhale, and then you're going to drop your elbows to your ribs and do a sharp exhale. And the same thing, you'll do 15 times, 3 rounds, with your eyes closed. You go 4, 5. So this time we're exhaling forcefully in and out. You do 15 times of that. Sit there with your eyes closed. And then 3 rounds of that. And that's to help energize your body. And then we want to start doing some gentle pre-yoga warm-ups to help up the energy, open up the energy in the body. And I'll show a separate link to that, where, for example, we work with the neck, and we gently roll it, and we synchronize the breath, where we inhale, and then we exhale, and we do that 3 times one direction, and we inhale, and we change direction, and exhale. So I'm just showing you the general idea, and the order of how we do the techniques does matter. And so we start with the breathing. We do this pre-yoga warm-up. Then I'm going to show you, then I'll leave some videos for you to try out, to do some gentle yoga stretches. I recommend doing some sun salutations and doing some sort of yoga sequence. And hopefully by then you're going to start to detach, your mind's going to start to detach from your problems. You just have to really make sure that you give all your focus to doing whatever task that you're doing. When you put the focus to it, you're focusing on your body and your breath, and not so much about whatever's happening in your life. Then after that, I'll give you a couple suggestions of some meditations that are free that you can do. Then once you're done the meditations, I'll give you even different durations of meditations. Some are really short, they're 7 minutes. You don't have different options. Some are closer to 20 minutes. It's really whatever's works with your time constraints. Then after you're done the meditation, you should feel good enough, or your mind should be free enough, where now we can go to part 2 of our method of changing our energy and mood so that we're not reacting but we're responding the way we want. Okay? And so now you're relaxed, and with your eyes closed, you can take your time and think of whatever situation that's going to trigger or invoke a positive emotion in you. Ask yourself, if you cannot think of a situation, think maybe what is it that you want in life? What is your greatest desire, your greatest dream? Think as if it's happening right now. Imagine it's happening right now. How would you feel? What emotion would it evoke? Then you drop whatever situation you're thinking. So if you find a watch, for example, you think, well, wouldn't it be awesome if I'm walking and I find a watch? And then you think to yourself, well, how would that make me feel? Maybe I would feel really excited. I feel a sense of adventure. And then what if I bring it into a shop and or maybe there's a reward, you end up seeing a reward for it, and someone's giving like a $5,000 reward for it, and you find that watch. So you come up with a situation that's going to create that positive emotion. It's going to depend on your imagination, either a memory or some made up story you make up that's enough to invoke that positive emotion. Then you forget the story, whatever's going in your mind, and you hold on to that emotion, okay? As long as you can. And then after you do it for a while and you start to feel okay, like I'm shifting, my mood is changing, and then you move on through your day, you go do your stuff in your day. I recommend one, doing physical activity, walking outside, being in nature, and keep coming back to that memory, keep coming back to that feeling, okay? And then when you start looking at things, you're walking, you're seeing a car, you're seeing a house, try to put that emotion into whatever you're seeing so that it ingrains into your reality. And then all of a sudden you're starting to reprogram of how you are reacting to your actual real life situation. So you see a tree, you see a car, you remember the story with the watch, how exciting it felt, the sense of adventure. Put that emotion, that positive emotion that you felt, either it was gratitude, excitement, whatever it was, put it onto that tree and try to respond and have that feeling to the tree as if you had it when you found that watch, or whenever you remember your favorite movie, that sense of magic. Whatever you see, you keep projecting that emotion onto it. You can even try to think like you're radiating that emotion and you're stretching it outside of yourself. You want to stretch the emotion out of you because we're trying to expand that feeling. And if throughout the day you slip and then you realize you're back into your negative state or you start reacting, again to whatever problem. You start to ruminate, you start to think about your problem again when you're in a bad state. Remember, our goal is to feel good without needing the situation to change itself. Okay? And then you might need to do one of the techniques that I showed. You don't have to go through every single step. That's just in an extreme situation. You want to go through every single step where you start with the breathing techniques, then you move on to do some gentle yogic warm-up, then doing some yogic stretches, like a yogic sequence, and then follow through with a meditation. That that should that's there in extreme situations, right? But maybe just a 7-minute meditation will be enough for you to reset, or maybe just picking the yogic technique and just doing the breathing for maybe like a minute is going to be enough for you where you can get back your bearings and retreat and get grounded and then go back and trigger and evoke that positive emotion. So I'm going to give you a bunch of different techniques to help you center yourself. You just look at my bio and I'm going to list and order them in the order that you should do them if you choose to connect and stack them together. And if you're having really trouble, it might take you maybe an hour of some sort of practice to start to feel better, but it's going to be worth it. It's better putting in an hour of work than spending the next 24 hours, maybe the next week, maybe the next month stressing out, because sometimes we can't change the situations. So we have to learn how to change something within ourselves, how we're responding. It's not what happens to you, it's what you do with what happens to you. And sometimes we can't control the situation and we can't take action to change it. So we have to learn, and we don't want to suffer through a month or whatever reason you're being stressed out where it's out of your control. Or if you're able to quickly take a small technique, then sure, take one small chunk from anywhere in the sequence. Maybe you really enjoy doing the yogic stretches, so you take that. I'm going to list different durations. Some yogic sequences are going to be 10 minutes, some of them are going to be longer. It's all up to you depending on your time and what you enjoy. And just keep coming back, keep bringing yourself back into a positive state. When you slip, center yourself using some of the techniques that I showed. And if you're still having trouble and you can't center yourself, the techniques I showed you is stuff that is safe and available freely online. But there's actually more powerful techniques available. And you have to learn them um, from a teacher. You can't learn it from YouTube. And there's stronger techniques. It's what I practice daily. There's techniques from Art of Living by Master Gurudev. There's Sudarshan Kriya. It's a breathing technique. And there's also meditation called Sahaj. And there's another teacher, an organization called Isha or Sadhguru, and they teach inner engineering and have also many other courses. What I would recommend by them is inner engineering and Surya Kriya. Just so you have something physical to work with your body, you learn a physical technique and a breathing technique. And what I would say is just check them both out. If you feel like you need extra support and this is not enough for you, check them out because those techniques are much more powerful than anything that I showed you. And it's going to really help, for me at least, it really helps reset and forget about everything that is happening. But it takes practice and you need consistency and commitment to reach that level. But it does work once you put in the time and effort. So I'm just giving you a short solution, something you can use as an emergency. And I'm talking through experience. This is what I've actually done in my life. And you really can choose how you feel regardless of how the situation is going. Maybe initially you get stuck in a negative situation, but if you follow through, you learn how to relax yourself, and then you think up of a situation that gives you a positive feeling, you're going to start to feel better. And you just have to be committed to keep coming back over and over and over again anytime you feel like you're slipping. So maybe you start here, your energy is low, learn to relax, you start to feel a little bit better. Then you use your imagination, and when you evoke an emotion and it's here, and then you move on with your day, and then something happens, you get distracted, and then you gotta do some technique. Just take a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes, to bring yourself back up. And the more you keep bringing yourself up, you're learning how to reprogram yourself to respond the way that you want. So I hope that's helpful. Look in the bio. I don't want to show you all this technique. I'm just going to give you all the resources that you need. That should be enough. And just get back to me and let me know if it helped you out. And the more and more you do this, the better and better you're going to feel, and you're going to anchor in that positive emotion that you're trying to invoke. It's going to start to become your new normal way of how you feel. So, wish you all the best. Let me know if it works out for you. See ya.